Tom Reed pushed his glasses up his nose and stared at the numbers on his screen. Something was wrong. For the third time this week, the resource allocation reports from the Commonwealth didn't add up. "That can't be right," he muttered. The office around him hummed with activity. The Commonwealth Embassy on Earth was always busy, with tall blue-skinned aliens and their human assistants rushing between meetings. Tom was just one of many humans working here, but he was good with numbers. Very good. He clicked through more reports, checking and double-checking his work. The Commonwealth, a union of 7 advanced alien species that had welcomed Earth into their fold 30 years ago, claimed to be investing heavily in Earth's development. But Tom's analysis showed something different. Resources were disappearing. Not small amounts, but enough to build entire fleets of ships. And the pattern had been going on for years. Tom glanced at the time. His meeting with Director Wilson was in 15 minutes. He quickly saved his findings to his secure drive and organized his notes. This was too important to ignore. Director Mike Wilson's office overlooked the city. From this height, you could see the gleaming Commonwealth towers rising among the older human buildings. Wilson, a broad-shouldered man with graying hair, didn't look up when Tom entered. "You have 5 minutes, Reed. I'm due at the council meeting soon." Tom placed his tablet on the desk. "Sir, I found something concerning the Commonwealth reports. They're diverting massive resources and hiding it in the budget numbers." Wilson's eyes flicked to the tablet, then back to Tom. Something passed across his face too quickly to read. "Show me." Tom pulled up the reports, pointing out the discrepancies. "See here and here. If you track these shipments over time, there's a pattern. They're building something big, sir. Something they don't want us to know about." Wilson studied the screen for a long moment. His face gave nothing away. "How long have you been looking into this?" "About 3 months, sir. At first, I thought it was just errors in the system, but it's too consistent, too deliberate." Wilson nodded slowly, then pressed a button on his desk. "Send in Security Chief Davis." Tom felt the first flutter of unease. "Sir." "Relax. Reed. This is important work you've done." Wilson stood and walked to the window, hands clasped behind his back. "Tell me, do you like Mars?" "Mars? I've never been, sir. The Commonwealth has an advanced monitoring station there. They're expanding operations and need skilled analysts." Wilson turned, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. "I'm recommending you for an immediate transfer, a promotion, really." The door opened and Security Chief Davis entered. He was a tall man with a military bearing. "Tom Reed is being transferred to Mars Station. Effective immediately. Please help him gather his things." Tom stood, confused. "Sir, about these reports. I'll handle it personally, Reed. The Commonwealth has been good to Earth. We don't want to make accusations without absolute proof." Wilson extended his hand. "You've done good work. The Mars position is important. We need people like you there." Tom shook the offered hand, noting how cold it felt. "Thank you, sir, but I'd rather continue this investigation. If the Commonwealth is." "The matter is closed," Wilson said, his voice hardening. "Chief Davis will escort you to your desk. You leave tomorrow morning." As Tom cleared out his desk, he copied his findings to a small data chip. Something felt wrong about all this. A promotion shouldn't feel like being silenced. He slipped the chip into his pocket just as Davis returned. "Time to go, Reed." As they walked toward the exit, they passed the secure communication room. The door was slightly ajar, and Tom glimpsed Ambassador Len inside. 9 feet tall, with blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. The ambassador was speaking to someone on a large screen. "The human containment strategy proceeds as planned," Len was saying, his multiple voice boxes creating an eerie harmony. "They suspect nothing about the harvester." Tom kept walking, his face carefully blank. Davis showed no reaction. Had he not heard? Or did he not care? That night, in his small apartment, Tom couldn't sleep. He paced, thinking about what he'd heard, about his sudden transfer to Mars. His computer chimed with an incoming message. It was from an unknown sender, but the subject line made his heart race. About your discovery. Tom clicked it open. Mr. Reed, my name is Anna Lee. I'm a xenobiologist at Mars Station. We haven't met, but we have something in common. We both asked the wrong questions. Be careful what you bring with you. They search everything. Memorize what matters. Delete this message. Tom read it 3 times before deleting it as instructed. He pulled out the data chip, studying the tiny device. They would search his belongings. But would they search him? He made his decision quickly. Using a sterile knife, he made a small cut on his arm, then slipped the tiny chip beneath his skin. He applied a skin sealer from his first aid kit, watching as the wound closed, leaving only a small red mark. If the Commonwealth was hiding something big enough to justify silencing him, he needed to know what it was. Mars might not be a punishment, but an opportunity. In the embassy's upper levels, Ambassador Len reviewed the personnel transfer orders with satisfaction. The human, Reed, had been dealt with. Do you think he's a threat? Asked his assistant. Humans are clever, but limited, Len replied, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. They see patterns, but not purpose. By the time they understand what's happening, it will be too late. A holographic display showed Earth rotating slowly, with markers indicating resource extraction points. Such a beautiful world, Len said, rich in everything we need. It's almost a shame. The council grows impatient. The harvester must be completed on schedule. Len closed the display with a wave of his long fingers. It will be. The humans are cooperative, believing our promises of technological advancement. They'll never suspect that their world was chosen for consumption, not elevation. He glanced at a secondary screen showing Reed's profile. Keep watching this one on Mars. Curious humans can be dangerous. And Director Wilson. He believes he's protecting Earth by maintaining good relations with us. Humans are so easily led when they think they're being diplomatic. Len made a sound like chimes in the wind. A laugh. They never ask why. Of all the species we've encountered, they alone were invited to join the Commonwealth so quickly. Outside, the lights of the city sparkled in the night. None of those humans looking up at the stars could imagine what was coming. The fall of Earth was approaching, and truly, no one saw it coming. The trip to Mars took 3 days in the Commonwealth transport ship. Tom spent most of it looking out the small window at the stars. He touched the spot on his arm where the data chip was hidden under his skin. It had healed well, with just a small red mark remaining. Mars Station rose from the red planet's surface like a glass and metal tree. Multiple domes connected by long tubes spread across the landscape. As the transport ship docked, Tom gathered his few allowed belongings. Reed, Tom Reed. A woman in a white lab coat waited at the arrival area. She was tall with short brown hair and sharp eyes that seemed to notice everything. Yes, that's me, Tom said. I'm Anna Lee. She offered her hand, and her grip was firm. Welcome to Mars. I've been assigned to show you around. As they walked through the station's corridors, Anna kept her voice casual. The walls have ears here. Commonwealth technology is everywhere. We'll talk later. Tom nodded, understanding. They were being watched. Anna showed him the data center where he would work, the living quarters, and the small recreation area. Everything was efficient, clean, and monitored. Your shift starts tomorrow, she said as they reached his quarters. Get some rest. She handed him a small device, standard issue tablet. Has the station map and your schedule. She leaned closer as if checking something on the screen. Tonight, 2300 hours. Dome 3, Section 8. Maintenance access. Then she straightened up and smiled. See you tomorrow, Reed. At 2300 hours, Tom made his way through the dimly lit corridors to Dome 3. He found Section 8 and the maintenance access panel Anna had mentioned. It was unlocked. Inside was a narrow service tunnel. He crawled through until it opened into a small room filled with pipes and control panels. Anna was waiting. "Sorry about the secrecy," she said. "This is one of the few places without monitoring. The noise from the oxygen recyclers blocks their sensors." "Who's they?" Tom asked. "The Commonwealth supervisors. There are only 12 of them on station, but they control everything." Anna sat on a metal crate. "I found this place by accident 3 months ago. Your message said we have something in common. We both asked the wrong questions." Anna's face grew serious. "I was the lead cynobiologist here, studying how different species respond to Mars' environment. 6 months ago, I noticed something strange in the Commonwealth medical protocols. They were collecting massive amounts of human biological data, blood, tissue samples, genetic information, far more than needed for their stated research. What were they doing with it?" Tom asked. "That's what I asked. 2 days later, I was demoted and reassigned. Now I tend their garden dome." She pointed to her hands, which were rough with calluses. "What about you? What did you find?" Tom told her about the resource discrepancies and his conversation with Director Wilson. Then he touched his arm. "I brought proof." Anna's eyes widened. "They didn't find it." "No, but I need a medical scanner to remove it safely." She smiled. "I was a doctor before I was a xenobiologist. I can handle that. But not tonight. We need to be careful about medical supplies going missing." Tom nodded. "What do we do now?" "We need to connect the pieces, your financial data and my biological research. And we need help from Earth." Anna pulled out her own tablet. "There's someone you should meet, at least virtually." She activated a secure communication program. After a moment, an older man's face appeared on the screen. He had gray hair and the weathered look of someone who had spent years outdoors. "This is Jack Miller," Anna said. "Former military intelligence. Now retired, but with many friends still in service." "So you're the number guy," Jack said. "Good work noticing those discrepancies. Not many would have caught that." "How are you involved in this?" Tom asked. Jack's expression turned grim. 25 years ago, I was part of the first military advisory team to meet with the Commonwealth. Something about them never sat right with me. They were too helpful, too eager to share certain technologies while holding others back." "Like what?" "Medical tech, communications, transportation, yes. Weapons, defense systems, power generation, no." Jack leaned closer to the camera. "A few of us started a quiet program, off the books. We've been reverse engineering their broken tech for years." Tom was shocked. "That's against the Commonwealth Accords." "The accords that they wrote." Jack scoffed. "Son, when someone stronger than you sets the rules, sometimes you need to bend them to survive." Anna interjected. "Show him the construction images." Jack tapped something on his end, and the screen changed to show grainy images of a massive structure being built in space, far beyond Mars. "This was taken by one of our deep space probes," Jack explained. "The Commonwealth doesn't know we have observation capabilities this far out. Whatever they're building, it's huge. And they're bringing in materials from all over the system." Tom studied the images. "That could explain the resource diversion I found." "We need more information," Anna said. "Specifically, we need access to the Commonwealth's secure database. There's a terminal in the main control room, but it's always guarded." "I might be able to help with that," Tom said slowly. "My new position gives me system access. Not to everything, but maybe enough to create a backdoor." Jack nodded. "Do it, but be careful. If they catch you." "They won't," Tom promised, though he wasn't sure he believed it himself. Over the next 2 weeks, Tom worked his regular shifts, careful to seem like a model employee. At night, he met with Anna in their secret room, where she finally removed the data chip from his arm. The information confirmed his earlier findings. Resources were being diverted on a massive scale, enough to build a small fleet or one enormous structure. Meanwhile, Tom created a program designed to slip through the Commonwealth's security systems. It would run in the background, gathering scraps of data without triggering alarms. On the night they planned to deploy the program, Tom was working late in the data center. The room was empty except for him and one Commonwealth supervisor named Krell, a tall, thin alien with pale green skin who rarely spoke to the humans. Tom waited until Krell left for his customary meal break, then quickly inserted his specially coded chip into the main terminal. The program began its work, silently spreading through the system. He had just removed the chip when alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Security alert. All personnel return to quarters. This is not a drill, announced the station's automated system. Tom's heart raced. Had they detected his program? He pocketed the chip and tried to look calm as he headed for the exit. He nearly collided with Anna as she rushed into the data center. "It wasn't us," she whispered urgently. "Commonwealth security ships just entered orbit. Something big is happening." Through the data center's large window, they watched as 3 sleek black ships descended toward the station's landing pads. "We need to get that data to Jack now," Anna said. "They might lock down all communications." Tom nodded. "And then we need to get out of here." "How?" "We're on Mars." Tom looked at her steadily. "Jack mentioned there's a human military ship hidden on Phobos. If we can get a message to them." The doors to the data center slid open. Commonwealth security forces marched in, weapons ready. Tom Reed and Anna Lee, their leader, announced, "You are detained for questioning. Come with us now." Tom and Anna exchanged a glance. Whatever was happening, they were out of time. "Run," Anna shouted, grabbing Tom's arm. They sprinted toward the emergency exit at the back of the data center. The Commonwealth security forces fired their weapons, but the shots were set to stun, not kill. They wanted prisoners, not bodies. Tom slammed his hand on the emergency door release. Alarms blared louder as the door slid open, revealing a maintenance corridor. "This way," Anna called, leading him through a maze of narrow passages. "I've explored every inch of this station. They won't catch us easily." Behind them, heavy footsteps echoed as their pursuers followed. Anna stopped at an intersection, pressed a sequence of buttons on a control panel, and a section of wall slid open. "Quick," she urged. "This leads to the old mining tunnels." They squeezed through the opening, which sealed shut behind them. The tunnel was dark and dusty, clearly unused for years. "How did you know about this?" Tom asked as they hurried forward, using the light from Anna's tablet to guide them. "Mars Station was built on top of the original mining outpost," she explained. "Most of these tunnels aren't even on the current maps. The Commonwealth thinks they're all sealed." They moved deeper into the tunnels, the sounds of pursuit fading behind them. After 20 minutes of walking, they reached a small, hidden chamber filled with supplies: food, water, oxygen tanks, and even a communication system. "You've been planning for this," Tom said, impressed. Anna nodded. "Ever since they demoted me. I knew someday I'd need to escape." She activated the communication system. "Let's hope Jack is ready." After a tense minute, Jack's face appeared on the screen. "What happened?" "The emergency channel wasn't supposed to be used unless—" "We're blown," Anna interrupted. "Commonwealth security is here. They tried to arrest us." Jack's expression turned grim. "It's happening all over. Commonwealth forces have locked down their embassies on Earth. They're detaining humans working in their facilities. Something big is starting." "We have partial data from their system," Tom said, holding up the chip. "Not everything, but maybe enough to figure out what's going on." "Can you transmit it?" Jack asked. Tom shook his head. "Too risky. They'll detect the signal." Jack thought for a moment. "The Phobos ship. It's your only chance. Captain Rogers is standing by, but you'll need to get off Mars." Anna pointed to the supplies. "I have pressure suits and enough fuel in a hidden shuttle for a one-way trip to Phobos. I was saving it as a last resort." "Use it," Jack said firmly. "We need that data, and we need you both. Things are accelerating faster than we expected." The communication suddenly crackled with static. "They're jamming all signals," Anna said. "We need to move now." 6 hours later, a small, unmarked shuttle detached from a hidden dock on Mars' surface. It rose quietly, using minimal power to avoid detection, heading toward the small moon Phobos. Inside, Tom and Anna sat tensely in their pressure suits, watching for signs of pursuit. There, Anna pointed at a small screen. Commonwealth patrol ships, 3 of them. Tom adjusted their course, using the limited stealth technology Jack's people had installed on the shuttle. "They haven't spotted us yet. We're almost there." Phobos loomed ahead, a potato-shaped moon marked with craters. Anna guided the shuttle toward a particularly dark region on its far side. "The human ship should be waiting in that crater," she said, "if Jack's information is correct." As they approached, a signal flashed on their communication system. 3 short pulses, then 2 long ones. "That's them," Tom said, relief washing over him. He sent the response signal. A moment later, a section of what had appeared to be lunar surface slid away, revealing a hidden docking bay. The shuttle glided in, and the camouflage doors closed behind them. Armed soldiers in Earth military uniforms greeted them as they exited the shuttle. The leader, a woman with captain's insignia, stepped forward. "Captain Rogers," she introduced herself. "Welcome aboard the EDF Defiant. We've been expecting you." In the ship's secure briefing room, Tom and Anna shared everything they had discovered. Technical officers extracted the data from Tom's chip and projected it onto a large screen. "This confirms our worst fears," Captain Rogers said as she studied the information. "The Commonwealth has been lying to us from the beginning." The data revealed the true purpose of the massive structure being built beyond Mars, a planet cracker designed to break apart a world and harvest its core materials efficiently. "Earth is the target," Tom said quietly. "They never saw us as partners, just as resources to be used." One of the officers expanded a section of the data showing biological research, and this explains the extensive collection of human biological samples. "They've been studying our weaknesses, creating targeted bioweapons as a backup plan." Anna shook her head in disgust. "All those medical advancements they shared, they were just gathering data on how our bodies work." Captain Rogers activated a secure communication channel. "Admiral Torres needs to see this immediately." The screen changed to show a stern-faced woman in an admiral's uniform. She was in an underground facility, with maps and tactical displays visible behind her. "Rogers," the admiral acknowledged. "I see you found our missing analysts." "Yes, ma'am." And they brought proof of the Commonwealth's intentions. Admiral Torres studied the data in silence for a long moment. Then she looked directly at Tom and Anna. "Thank you both. Your courage has given us the final confirmation we needed." She turned to someone off-screen. "Initiate Operation Dark Shield. Authorization code. Earth stands." She faced the camera again. "Captain Rogers, bring your ship and our guests to Pacific Base immediately. It's time they saw what we've been preparing." 24 hours later, the EDF Defiant entered Earth's atmosphere under complete communication blackout, using advanced stealth technology that the Commonwealth didn't know humans possessed. They landed on a platform that then descended deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Tom and Anna watched in amazement as they entered a vast underwater facility unlike anything they had ever seen. "Welcome to Pacific Base," Admiral Torres greeted them as they disembarked. "The heart of Earth's secret defense initiative." She led them through corridors filled with technology that looked far more advanced than what was publicly known to exist on Earth. "For 20 years, we've been preparing," the Admiral explained. "A small group within Earth's military and intelligence services never trusted the Commonwealth's friendly overtures. We've been reverse engineering their technology, developing our own advancements in secret, and building our defenses." They entered a massive control room where hundreds of personnel monitored screens showing Commonwealth movements throughout the solar system. The Commonwealth believes we're primitive, compliant, and vulnerable, Admiral Torres said. They've never understood humanity's greatest strength, our ability to adapt and overcome. While pretending technological inferiority, we've been watching them, learning from them, and preparing for this day. On the main screen, Commonwealth ships were moving into attack positions around Earth. They're coming, Tom said. Admiral Torres nodded. Yes, but they expect to find a helpless world ripe for harvesting. A cold smile crossed her face. Instead, they'll discover that humanity is far from helpless. The fall they planned for Earth will become their own. She turned to face them fully. The Commonwealth is about to learn a painful lesson. Never underestimate humans. Alarms blared throughout Pacific Base. On the massive central screen, red dots representing Commonwealth warships moved into attack formation around Earth. They're deploying as expected, Admiral Torres said calmly. Standard Commonwealth assault pattern. They always follow the same tactics. They've never needed to adapt. Tom and Anna watched in silent horror as the first Commonwealth ships entered Earth's atmosphere, heading toward major military installations. Shouldn't we evacuate those bases? Tom asked. Admiral Torres shook her head. Those bases are empty. Just shells with minimal personnel. Our real forces are elsewhere. She tapped her control panel. All units, execute Protocol Mirage. Across the globe, what appeared to be Earth's primary military bases suddenly exploded in carefully controlled detonations. To Commonwealth sensors, it would look like their first strike had been successful. Now we wait, the Admiral said. On screen, Commonwealth landing craft began their descent, expecting minimal resistance after their successful first strike. Their ships moved confidently, with no defensive formations. They saw no need for caution against a primitive species that had just lost its main defenses. They're so confident, Anna observed. They don't expect any real fight. Admiral Torres smiled coldly. Pride before the fall. She touched her comm unit. All defense grids, activate. Authorization. Thunderbolt. Around the world, hidden installations powered up. Weapons systems that the Commonwealth didn't know existed came online. On the tactical display, blue dots appeared everywhere, in mountains, under oceans, and even in orbit, disguised as civilian satellites. The first Commonwealth landing craft neared New York. It never made it to the ground. A beam of intense energy shot up from what appeared to be an ordinary office building, cutting the ship in half. Similar scenes played out globally as hidden human defenses revealed themselves. What? How? Anna gasped. 20 years of preparation, Admiral Torres explained. While pretending to accept their technology scraps, we were studying their weapons, their shields, their tactics. Everything they thought was broken or discarded, we fixed and improved. They're responding, called out a tactical officer. Commonwealth command ships are changing formation. On screen, the Commonwealth fleet was regrouping, clearly shocked by the unexpected resistance. Their neat attack formations dissolved into defensive clusters. They're confused, Tom noted. Their plan assumed we couldn't fight back. Admiral Torres nodded. And that's our advantage. Lieutenant Barnes, commence Operation Blindside. Across the solar system, previously hidden human outposts on the Moon, Mars, and several asteroids activated powerful jamming devices. The Commonwealth fleet's communications began to break down, their coordination faltering. We've identified their command ship, announced the communications officer. It's maintaining primary control of their fleet. Admiral Torres turned to a tall, weathered man standing quietly in the corner of the command center. Colonel Davis, I believe it's time for your team to move. The man nodded. My strike team is ready. Admiral. Tom recognized him with shock. Security Chief Davis, from the embassy. Davis smiled slightly. My position at the embassy was my cover. I've been military intelligence for 15 years. Your mission is critical, Colonel, Admiral Torres said. If you can disrupt their command ship, We can break their coordination completely." Davis saluted and left the command center. On a secondary screen, Tom and Anna watched as a sleek, black ship, unlike any they had seen before, rose from a hidden hangar. "That's the Shadow Strike," Admiral Torres explained. "Our most advanced stealth vessel, built using reverse-engineered Commonwealth technology. The Commonwealth doesn't know we have ships like this." The vessel vanished from normal sensors as its stealth systems engaged, becoming visible on the tactical display only as a faint blue outline moving rapidly toward the Commonwealth fleet. "While Davis handles the command ship, we need to disable their planet cracker," the Admiral continued. "Tom, Anna, your data showed vulnerabilities in their control systems. We need your help to exploit them." Aboard the Shadow Strike, Colonel Davis briefed his team of 12 elite soldiers. Each wore advanced combat armor that could withstand Commonwealth weapons. "Our mission is simple but critical," he told them. "We board their command ship, fight our way to their communication hub, and plant these disruptors." He held up small devices that pulsed with blue light. "Once activated, they'll scramble all Commonwealth coordination for at least 6 hours." The ship's pilot called back. "Approaching target, Colonel. Their shields are focused outward. They're not expecting an attack from within their formation." Davis nodded. "Perfect. Take us in, nice and quiet." The Shadow Strike slipped between massive Commonwealth warships, its advanced stealth technology making it invisible to their sensors. It attached itself to the hull of the Commonwealth command ship, cutting through using specialized tools designed specifically for Commonwealth alloys. "Breach complete," reported the team's engineer. "We have entry." Davis led his team through the opening. "Remember your training. Commonwealth soldiers are bigger and stronger, but they're slow to adapt to unexpected situations. Use that against them." Inside the vast alien ship, alarms had not yet sounded. The human team moved silently through corridors designed for beings much larger than themselves, planting small charges at key junctions. "Command center should be 2 levels up," Davis whispered, checking his scanner. "Let's move." Back at Pacific Base, Tom and Anna worked with Earth's best computer specialists to exploit the weaknesses they had discovered in Commonwealth systems. "There," Tom pointed at the screen. "Their planet cracker uses a distributed control system, but every node has the same security flaw. If we can trigger a cascade failure, we'd need to get a signal past their defenses," one of the specialists objected. Anna smiled. "What if we don't need to? What if the signal comes from inside their own network?" She explained her idea, and the team quickly got to work, creating a virus that would spread through the Commonwealth's own communication channels. Admiral Torres watched with approval. "This is why they'll lose," she said quietly. "Humans adapt. We find solutions where they see only obstacles." On the main display, the battle continued to rage. Commonwealth forces, expecting an easy victory, instead found themselves facing sophisticated weapons and tactics they had never seen humans use before. Their losses mounted as their coordination broke down. A cheer suddenly erupted from the communication station. "Colonel Davis has reached the command center. Disruptors are being planted now." Moments later, the pattern of Commonwealth ships on the tactical display changed from organized formations to confused individual movements. "They've lost central command," Admiral Torres announced. "Now, launch the virus." Tom pressed the final command. Through captured Commonwealth communication relays, their virus entered the planet cracker's control systems. On screen, the massive structure that had been preparing to move toward Earth suddenly went dark, its power systems failing section by section. "We did it," Anna breathed. Admiral Torres shook her head. "No, we've won the first battle, but the war is just beginning." She pointed to new readings appearing on the display. "Commonwealth reinforcements are already on their way. We've surprised them, but they still outnumber us." Tom looked at the tactical display, watching Earth's hidden defenses continuing to fight. "What now?" The Admiral's eyes gleamed with determination. Now we show them exactly what happens when you underestimate humanity. 3 days after the first Commonwealth attack, Earth still stood strong. The Commonwealth had expected a quick victory against a helpless planet. Instead, they faced fierce resistance from a world that had been secretly preparing for years. In Pacific Base's command center, Admiral Torres studied the tactical display with Tom, Anna, and the recently returned Colonel Davis. "Commonwealth reinforcements have arrived," she announced, pointing to new red dots appearing at the edge of the solar system. Their main fleet, at least 3 times larger than the first wave. "Can we hold against so many?" Anna asked, her voice tense. Admiral Torres's face remained calm. "We don't need to defeat their entire fleet. We just need to make this attack too costly for them to continue." She turned to Colonel Davis. "What did you learn on their command ship?" "Their leaders are in complete shock," Davis reported. "They can't understand how we developed these technologies without them knowing. But more importantly, I found this." He handed her a data device. "Their complete battle plans, including attack patterns for all Commonwealth worlds." Tom looked up sharply. "All Commonwealth worlds? You mean they're not just attacking Earth?" "No," Davis said grimly. "Earth is just the first. They have similar planet crackers positioned near 6 other worlds they consider resource-rich but expendable." Admiral Torres connected the device to their main system. The tactical display expanded to show the entire galaxy, with red markers indicating Commonwealth targets. "These other worlds," Anna said, studying the map. "They're all inhabited by species the Commonwealth claimed to be protecting or developing, just like they claimed with us. A pattern of exploitation." Torres nodded. "They find resource-rich worlds, pretend to be benevolent allies, secretly study the native species for weaknesses, then harvest the planet when ready." Tom pointed to communication logs in the data. "Look at this. The other target worlds have been sending distress signals. They've noticed Commonwealth forces building up near their planets." Admiral Torres made her decision quickly. "This changes everything. Colonel Davis, prepare a broadcast package with all the evidence we gathered. Include the Commonwealth's plans for other worlds, proof of their true intentions, and data on the weaknesses we found in their systems." She turned to the communications officer. "Use every channel we have. Send this to all Commonwealth target worlds immediately." In space above Earth, the battle continued to rage. Commonwealth ships, now aware that humans were far more dangerous than they had believed, fought with increasing desperation. But human forces, smaller yet more adaptable, continued to hold their ground. The captured planet Cracker, now under human control, had become the focal point of the battle. Commonwealth forces threw everything they had at it, trying to either recapture or destroy it. "Why are they so focused on the planet Cracker?" Tom asked, watching the tactical display. "Because it contains their most advanced technology," Admiral Torres explained. "Technology they don't want shared with their other victims." She smiled. Too late. On screen, confirmation signals began appearing from distant worlds. The other targeted species had received Earth's warning and the technical data on Commonwealth weaknesses. "It's working," Anna said, hope in her voice. "They're fighting back." New alerts sounded through the command center. The Commonwealth's main fleet had arrived and was deploying in attack formation around Earth. Admiral Torres stood tall. "This is it. Their final push. All defense stations, prepare for maximum effort." The Commonwealth fleet, vast and imposing, began its advance toward Earth. But before they could launch their attack, something unexpected happened. Multiple new signals appeared on the tactical display, ships approaching rapidly from the direction of the other targeted worlds. "What is this?" Colonel Davis demanded. "Those aren't Commonwealth designs." Admiral Torres stared at the readings in surprise. "Allied forces. The other worlds we warned. They sent help." Ships of various designs, representing 5 different species from Commonwealth target worlds, took position alongside Earth's defenses. Their commanders opened communication channels. "Earth saved us by sharing your knowledge of Commonwealth weaknesses," said one alien captain, his face very different from the blue-skinned Commonwealth leaders. "We come to fight alongside you." Another alien commander added, "For too long, we believe the Commonwealth's lies. No more. Today, we stand together." The combined fleet of Earth and its new allies faced the Commonwealth Armada. What had been intended as a simple harvesting operation had become a full-scale rebellion. In the Commonwealth flagship, Ambassador Len stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "Impossible," he hissed. "How could the humans coordinate this? How could they contact the other worlds?" His second-in-command had no answers. "Our forces are reporting simultaneous uprisings on all targeted planets. They've somehow learned of our intentions." Len's multiple eyes blinked rapidly in distress. "Launch all ships. Crush them quickly before more join their rebellion." But as the Commonwealth fleet advanced, they found themselves facing not just Earth's unexpected defenses, but coordinated attacks from 5 other species, all using the same weaknesses in Commonwealth systems. In Pacific Base, Admiral Torres received the report from the front lines. "Commonwealth ships are falling back. Their formations are breaking apart." Tom, watching the display, could hardly believe it. "We're winning." "Not just winning," Torres corrected. "We're changing the galaxy." She nodded to the communications officer. "Send the final package to every world in the Commonwealth, not just the targeted ones." This final broadcast contained not only proof of the Commonwealth's exploitation plans, but also evidence of the Commonwealth leaders lying to their own people. Many Commonwealth citizens had never known about the harvesting operations or the true purpose of their protective relationship with less advanced worlds. 3 days later, in the secured conference room of Pacific Base, Admiral Torres met with the leaders of Earth's new allies. Ambassador Len, now a prisoner, sat in restraints nearby. "The Commonwealth is collapsing," reported the leader from Tarsus, one of the allied worlds. 3 more systems have declared independence. Their grand empire was built on lies and exploitation. Without those, it cannot stand. Len, his once proud posture now slumped in defeat, spoke for the first time. "How? How did primitives like you defeat us? We had superior technology, superior numbers." Admiral Torres walked to where he sat. "Because you never understood humanity's true strength. It's not our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to adapt, to find ways to survive against impossible odds. And most importantly, our willingness to stand together against threats, not just for ourselves, but for others." Tom stepped forward. "You built an empire based on deception and exploitation. We're building an alliance based on mutual respect and cooperation." Anna added, "That's why you fell. And truly, you never saw it coming." Outside, on screens across Earth and dozens of other worlds, the announcement was being made. The formation of the Galactic Alliance, a new coalition founded on genuine cooperation rather than dominance. The Commonwealth's fall had become the beginning of something better, a future where no world would stand alone.